Then God bless Wontumi and Diano and so and by your coach am away now and then so European conference
yes here for
here pa 100 or 75 48
wow
BW3D B63 21B 100 O's. I don't know. Yamra 75 O's.
Okay.
BW3D B63 D56 and here 75. Next 48 O's. BW3D B64 B45 and here 48 O's. BW3D B64 FD0 18 O's and a last code 15 O's. BW3D B65 62C yes T Nyaminto Supreme so my
light na ohuyambo na no pay
very necessary so very necessary well nyame my next week to send shara yenkwe ana me amedi pa Samuel Nkrumah odogu machine wasasra na chemi hotel ho ono so ne ho kani omo aware na ba so Elizabeth Amafusu odogu machine and so and the wife nyame my next week Thursday 26th of this month ana omo aware na ba so wasasra na chemi hotel tina chese wo baby am say ade na ko so wote ayina na say ano she pada be say we brabe di na no
oh yeah 24 di
I want the sharaki mo okay tin mo na kebi so ni mo so na na so bronya no ko ti odogu ne wifi enso dia abeba so mo friend in kanjan say etanachi yeah man fine we go already we kwa them say
Wontumi
anya kwa na di
be akwaso
hey masa ti I want the escafo man
yes
here pa torogu nyame supreme mo union so na omane oma enso enya fire techre yes into supremo yanko foreign emre na yemfa kakramra na who is still Arsenal BBS yana rinsi yo
BBS fancy BBS Open League
unless it won't share
and so on credit on share there but
Open League bottle matches
no crepa but Open League anya attitude we near the ball games obi a real league no so Open League agent no na emu na ebe sell party fans when you serious to win the league say the man for can boys no nam kwa chase Arsenal some dragging account fancy you need to stop talking about them. The more now I come myself, the more now I head to move.
They are still arguably the best team in Europe.
Fancy. We are the best side. You be we are the Biamudi. You be we. Arsenal you will be and finishing. You will be finishing. Wontumi start we mo say obe wie bibia te say maybe minimum obe bre ho an obi akọje Arsenal for sa no mai last minute no be the Indomie age
when na bona kutia no
min dey be mo kutia ne
I'm go for it man omo bope
Wontumi 101.3
well Sharak mo me go for it live on Facebook Wontumi TV live on YouTube Wontumi TV live and of course live on TV digital satellite 101.3 so you also in important on our Cosmos more
Cosmos more yes you also them
Wontumi
yeah
akai
almost say nya bi
almost pipeline
adumacho
ana mi ke acho
mudum na chepa
the key one on this na omrana
wonya quick na mo travel tuna afi multimedia na
Wontumi multimedia munya na muntwa radio ma na ache
mate yenye na yenkomra quick this Wontumi sports buffet yako foreign
Angwa Juma no you Yami Wohoda Se Uji Didia Obeya Juma and such no you Yami Wohoda Se Uji Didia Obeya Juma Ye Bompaye Shamachi Shra Yehuwa Ila Henu Yehuwa Ekat We Ahata Et Yehuwa Elohika Bika Luvika Uvika Naveshika Uvika Miyodika Tode Yasak in English in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Shout out, come on, boy, Kapo. Sorry, Kapo chairman. I feel like chairman. Yes. Now I have the answer. Go tama taboku kasa mo send messages and e ben no bia say. Hey, oh chairman, ya dear pass say watch me assemble. I just quite be coming kwame ho hene papa me.
Na guess it is okay how guess no me say guess no me say how many boys in this year me say guess it is say
I want to show an openo Yeremo na so bana wonim say no anhwe for Champions League omo and so games Barcelona openo so wunya time and so amon tie ntwumari and France I want to miss sports by tan openo Yeremo na so by no results our Barcelona I just a Tuesday day and one ajua and also I Wednesday anybody see say be call I return like Manchester United I'm going to say and some man Manchester Koya on your screens and I just an openo yere empty tane dia kan nyina bana onum say results by Manchester openo ya kabia and also I shocking I kwina wo bo kwa won say bodo glimt also I say da wo bo she Inter Milan academy say Manchester Inter bo ko no wo mo academy ba ko Manchester be kaya mere betu gas omo obi o man signal do na ne bo ku a ye fa say Dortmund akwa wo twe aye draw wo mo so mo ko she Atletico Madrid bi mo no wo mo so she Man City ana chesenwa wo mo san Inter Milan team no enso ya so ye kan no ye kan aye Atletico e ba no Europa anya Europa League no de wo mo so mo de hine ewom ana ba no say UEFA Champions League awon kan kra no aye 2014 final ana fa 2016 final no ye benya Atletico Madrid o mo mi no ana san o mo ko mi no nyina ma chese no Madrid enso na enso na refi o mo sam ntiabano ne kan say be Champions League wo mo so our experience ni nyina che no wo mo lose game Edema Saida ye fa say aye bodo ana no wache e ba no say Man City so bi arim Jumedia Man City so die wo mo so Champions League 2021 wo mo ko final ama chese later wo mo so na ba GB enso mo na so ana chese Inter Milan enso aye Saida o mo Jumedia o ma de nyina no ye can trouble any other interfere wo mo so that me ajibi na so nyina no ya ba benya chese ankodan ketenkete a enom aye bodo glimt ama omo a wo mo so abo experience any other wo mo so lose aye Manchester no enso ma bodo ama sese wo mo wanu se nyame ya ma return game na and also abo cross away no wo mo so ma so kra na sese no report am nya no say Interfono am say omoya worried na dentia ama Inter Milan aye worried that is next week Tuesday just automatically anya re say Lautaro Martinez aye player one some nobati me ball omo game no nyina no say no premier ba twitwa say wonom akakopra ama chese no coach aye friend say aye Christian Kivu abeka say boy no some no plano aye re say aye serious ama biem mesane to wonim say wo kwanu krom Argentina womo some did you be boy ni plano and you serious I said your coach no and some kanamom and the foreign kakra bi and just a player no and some other transfer report I mean you say and one I just intampo for no one some era who is a mountain bar na Lautaro am pass one prayer yenim so no to me bono na just a mountain man our family you know say our problem on the calf na just the 9-2 and I just at this time na and I'm some am just limited ama na modomo no nyina no ɛno nso aba from to report a mensa ka no sɛ ɛmfiri nɛ ɛnso nkosi nyame arbɔtena ɛno nso ayɛ Friday na kyɛsɛ wɔ sɛ wɔn scan bi a wɔsɛ player yɛfa no sɛ Lautaro Martinez atwa bia no ɛwɔ so ɔno nso letumi twa ɛyɛ scan ɛm yɛhu the extent of the injury ne yɛhu sɛ bia wɔn bɛtena fie nso akyɛ anasɛ sɛn ɛna no nso ɛbɛsi akɔ ɛwɔ abɔne ɛno nso ayɛ update aba na abɛka a nansɛn mu wɔ ɛna Inter Milan coach no ɛfa no sɛ ɛyɛ Christian Kivu Shadow Academy no bɛba a wonim sɛ yes coach no wɔyɛ kyɛsɛ press conference ana wɔde kɔtu dwasa abiribia kyɛsɛ Inter Milan ɛbɛkɔ away bia no yɛna referees ɛtai sisi ɛyɛ Inter Milan wɔmunya penalty kɔ referee ɛnsɛm ɛmpɛ so ɔbɛgye ɛne ade wonim sɛ ɔka no wɔsa no so sɛ ɛrese dɛ ma bi atwam yɛkae a Diego Armando Maradona ɛnsɛm ɛde no nsa hyɛ goal ana dɛntɛ na ɔmangye bɛsi na ɛnɛ bɔbɔ nipa nsa ɛsɛ referee bɛso wɔgye na referee no ɛbɛ so ɔbɛgye wɔyɛ asaa kyɛ sɛ wɔde Maradona hand of God no yɛ example of bra yɛda sɔre na no pɛ atɛmi nya no sɛ Maradona babɔe no ɛfa no sɛ Diego Armando Maradona Junior na Junior no yɛ Junior say wɔbɛ so wɔkama Christian Kivu tia sɛ ha ebi a wɔn bɛka so na wɔbɔ intana wɔgye trouble na dɛntɛ masa wɔse yɛwɔ to yɛ sɛ wo Christian Kivu wɔbɛ sɛ ɔka ne papa Diego Armando Maradona asɛm a ayɛ di kan fa nsuo ɛwohoro wɔnum ansa na waka so because wɔnum nka too much nyɛ sɛ bi a wɔdi na tɛnɛm ɔbu ne bɛ wɔbɛ so wɔtwerɛ no sɛ papa no wɔnyɛ no ba bi kwa no sɛ bi wɔnyɛ nipa bi a kyɛkyɛkyɛkyɛ wɔnyɛ nipa ketewa o ɛba no sɛ bi a bɔɔl pansa yɛde bɔɔl di agorɔ Maradona fa bɔɔl na wonua nso ɛkɔm baa bra wɔbia ti gu ahoɔden mu wotwa no apampee wɔba wɔpɛ mu ɔtɔ hɔ wɔbɔ shot ɛba timi sampa bɔɔl no ɛnsom ɛna ɛbɛyi na deɛ akora ne ka no nyina no sɛ wo Kivu ɛdeɛ mpaa na wayɛ kyɛ sɛ football no mu no wɔwarante sɛ wobɛtumi aka ɛyɛ kyɛ sɛ ne papa ɛnsom asɛm na deɛ ne papa accomplish ɛnsom ɛwɔ football no mu no sɛ nka bia Christian Kivu ɛnya mu 1% akora no a ankoɔka no baba asɛm anka nya no yɛ ɛdeɛ paa na woyɛyɛ ɛwɔ bɔɔ mu ɛdeɛ na wogye wokasa a wode no papa ɛna ɛbabɛ example masa wo last year nie akyɛ sɛ nom ɛyɛ kakra firi ɛyɛ owura mfa no sɛ Diego Armando ɛyɛ Maradona Junior ɛnsom asoɔde baba sɛ Maradona mode ɔma bɛdi agorɔ ku kapɔ wohwɛ Mara fa bɔ box ma twɛn ne ade ɛnsom abɔtum ama saa nneɛma no nyinaa no ɛno nsom akɔ so ntɔno deɛ wɔbɛ so wɔkyerɛ sɛ wo nuam ɛnsɛm fata koraa so ɔbɛka ne papa ɛnsom asɛm ama kyɛsɛ no ayɛ kakra ɛno nso firi ɔma so ɛde bana no pɛn no ɛnsom ɛwɔ show no so no a mame Nico Pals ɛnwura AC Milan ɛne bɔbɔkura wɔne sɛ Como ɛnsom abɔ Nico Pals ɛyɛ obi a report a mensa ka no sɛ wɔbɛmese Juventus ɔmo game ɛsɛn sɛ wɔmo next game ɛba so no wakɔ akɔnya ne 6 yellow card ana the moment nso bi abɛnya accumulation of yellow cards na no ɛnsom ɛkyerɛ sɛ I was saying we are suspended into our bra. Nan komu here Nico Pass pano. But no some other say Nyami Arma Saturday game against Bobokua. You follow la Fikia Signora and no I Jeffrey I Jufi and then Chesa Como Oma Tenemo and some Ateba. Now Juva Yakoma Semono William Antonio Rutica and Madrid. I'm also a quarter Olimsa and the Cabato Really gano, woman say Madrid and Passe, woman some other standard a contract, and so Eliamano, and Dibia a free Biasu Yabaka Tema, now Beppe Marota, a GM, and some Arama Jufero, no title at the Bapa, Nansen Croco in Tamalan Crown, where the Marcus Ram no Aniate, and so Baffo free, and I'm an old Casay, yes, Jufi Ayakalaba, Luciano Spalletti, S.A. Ope, now what about your Rutica, because one pay, and say I'm possibly a queen. Daho na bibia chese bia wutika no ensom obi obetimi afa no dia ene akwabia so mo fa no mre no ama ntemi nya no se juve tim no wo mo som na so mo fa aye chese abanta wo so wutika enom aye for free ana tushan flow we che obi a report am nya no sa obeba jis omu game against AS Roma game ana report am say kan sa aye striker ye fa no tushan flow we ensom abaro komana fe wo som atimi abosa game ɛno ayɛ update abana dwuma team na mu no wɔn wɔ so wɔn yɛ changes na changes no mɛte sɛ Jonathan David wɔn fa ne fo and they woman be jamu because omutiri yabasa montompono and some our film and I feel Lois Openda and so a player one of some about Boninano and some our from Ebium I am Michel de Gregorio Omunano report I San Can say Juventus I club one same Omubeja I South falling in our quite am Omunano and so free club Manco Yamia Duma I summer and San Comono and some Nabakosua Yade I am Tetana Yakano and some am I yet and on pay I was sure also now all some Bamunti Timono a bunch of form year pa and some I lose Diaz I almost say Harry Kane elbow goals or Tuntana and set a record and some Aniate now I'm Luis Diaz and so form and worship now Diaz now Odin Commander Omubisan say I feel Bamunti Timono. Yes, we be also much trouble now. Who sa Ben? Tabet major trouble now. And also, Mudie. A dear Biano competition be a Bamunchin Elmubiano. Wamusum Abaswamukona, Wamuje, Ayasa competition and Swadeba. And it's our Candia League Omuboy, Wamum Abaswamuche, Ebium, and some Ionia Cancer Champions League, Wamubaswamufa, and I said DLV Pokal, and also Mubaswamuche. And it's our Okos Sana Marina. Maybe I'll bet 10 minutes say I had trouble there. The boss were coming in answer one to say one family and what it one was our quality and some other say one was some our form archers our form no one bet me the TV near cancer trouble and I have a sobako down one was some other born timino now coach I found say I am Vincent company sir manager Obi anda aye Pep Guardiola where juma pana tienie womubusa aye coach afansa Pep na omono kwan aye nkwadan keten kitibina ba munchifo biem sa coach ametena say press conference one nkwadan ko a ena nkwadan no webusa question na wayi ano na webusa no wayi ano na nkwadan ba ko ensum na busa company say na one Pep ensum aye juma da na adiam pote no betimi de say ne bo ensum aka say was see any free Pep and I said be a good roller and some actually one I am Vincent company and was say and you say be a near cancer tactics say be a born munya and say quantabi was a job and some free Pep pano I am near cancer mentality now mentality no what some say and then maybe I will ball team Cassia so Bamunchin Eboli Rakusen Bamunchin Eba Leipzig maybe a brain and a document and a bar your father a big game. And to us a coach be on the drone man who meme no more monetary no more drama points. Wabanya Ebia Bain and Fusbeck. Wabanya Bain and Ebia to say Frankfurtunum and it just be a colonum and yatano not just one relax or some Pep Guardiola when him Sabian yet. And our papa no when him game big and the big no what too much beer to say there was a game no one some some mentality no and I just idea one was a free manager your father said Pep Guardiola and some amateurs and pay no you then update telling us agenda now Jamaican Arsenal what will be a dim commercial now you can say the Gunners I say that one some number to me a bottle and your Premier League no sharak mami table no now you still Arsenal. One would have some I have 5 points. I just on ball. One game more at the time, Man City. And it just other clubs. One more some Aka Ebiono, Man City, everybody weekend. And at the Gunners as a club. One more some North London Derby as a ball. Now, in fact, almost 2 matches in Arsenal. Everybody Tottenham Hotspur. Our way. No, I'm a fear and Chelsea and some other ball. Wow, saying and I 2 games out of my Arsenal and some other circle comparatively when you compare Ayabokua your father some Man City not just a Man City for them Robo Ayabo Fansa Newcastle our brand Newcastle game no so Kobasa Bubuka some Man City one some boss I can really say pa not just someone's game I was a personal one some other Leeds United one to Nottingham no more come to Newcastle our brand I don't cry the FA Cup game and some other some Premier League one call to Leicester no about Nottingham and some other friend away and I'll be able to say I points no more and some ɛyɛ worry ɛdema ɛyɛ the Gunners ɛno sɛ wohwɛ the year 2026 a wɔn bɔ ɛyɛ 8 Premier League matches ama akyɛ sɛ wɔn 8 Premier League matches wɔn abɔ no nyinaa no Arsenal ɛwini mmiɛnsa pɛ wɔn draw maako ɛyɛ kyɛ sɛ 4 ɛna wɔn lose baako ɛno ɛyɛ kyɛ sɛ wɔn record sɛ ɛyɛ kasa no yadeɛ sɛ ɛnyɛ koraa na kyɛ sɛ mɔdɔbɔ no so yadeɛ a ɛno nso ɛwɔ fam ama mɛ na ɔkasa no ɛno ɛyɛ kakra firi hɔ ɛnso ɛde bɛn no pɛ no ɛwɔ show no so na yɛgu so a yɛkan no wɔn sɛ after sɛ no a from 2 goals up ɔmo ɛtumi sɛn na wɔn ne Wolves ɛnso about 2-2 ɛma kyɛ sɛ kɔtwɛ records ɛne yade ɛnso ɛde bɛn no mami abɔnkyɛ wɔn sɛ Bukayo Saka na Bukayo Saka edi nkɔmɔ no wɔ sɛ Bueno, I say, and anything about real caring yes, sir. And I say, at Taisi, Womo Bona, Womo to be Shabo, so Woman quite opponent, you know, and some Abam, Womo Bona, as Arsenal, as Womo more, I just idea see now, a bit, see Emra, Nebiasi, Fortuna, Nebiasi, and a Chenny at and just I tell a sorry or care, and was and you're a sacra, and Domasu Canning, and I'm saying, a new Christ, Woman Sadi, and see, I was so more reflective. Wabo reflective ya emsa basa ma montompono ensom asa pajabium ana mo busa senti aya pressure ana Arsenal move freely and as an officer a day ana Bukayo Saka say what the anu person ordinary crab call someone for be kind ana pressure domo so ana be a Man City ba ana dead or see here say Arsenal wabo be get back to omo anka so mo level esa se level na enim no anya ho ana say Arsenal ewo anya sa montompono says Arsenal and some no and a problem at my club. You found the Gunners, young tier player, you found Bukayo Saka, and what shall go. No one, Asako Pride after the game, Bukayo and some Kasai.
Not so much about reoccurring theme. You know, it's time for us to reflect on the last few performances and just fix the issues immediately so we can get back to winning games and going on a run, build momentum because, yeah, we've lost that a bit right now.
You know, did you think you've lost it? Is that due to the situation you're facing? You're going for massive prizes. Is the pressure part of it?
No, I don't think about all of that, man. I just think we need to just get back to our level, just do the basics right, and we've got more than enough quality in this team to win games, especially the games where we've been dropping points recently. So yeah, we just need to fix that, and that's all our focus is right now. Not so much about reoccurring theme. You know,
said the Gunners and some side. When we bet me, I get back to Omo Castle love for lessons here. Casino said, yeah, Omo love will be on the ball game, and you said, yeah, I was Arsenal. Now, almost want that our matches will be a some rane. One more, I had the best team ever. Sure, penny I do a Brian Casino. I said, yeah, can't say the Numa and some Shogun, assuming that you can stone Arsenal and also decay, and some our table also Arsenal and also decay. Our Champions League and also Arsenal. Woman, our Carabao Cup final game. I'm in Man City and some about woman also our FA Cup and national will be until the pass and your Corso and the Acoso Amanchas and Radia and some other piece of once again a beer normal Sandam Cremu ever bottle near Cancer Premier League. What should I players and I just say I will hold about Omanim and some Busabusa Omura Hopa. I just I did about and do Munano and some Ayasanyamano. Now the coming will run for some Paul Mansone. You can Paul Mansone or you'll be our Bobo and some Arsenal and maybe a Tom City. Now I can the next games at the Man City and some other the Gunners in the Sana now. One was on discuss our Sky. One studios now former player Fanasa and Paul Manson and was say the best work can you know so man our shall several money a day at the Babasha Arsenal or 3 year pass Arsenal. Woman has 2 games and a problem. Arsenal ever bought a Tottenham Spay. Arsenal ever bought Chelsea or say what 3 year pass 2 very difficult games at the Gunners a similar former player Paul Manson and some other 2
be in the top 4, cemented, might be in the Europa final, and they're done. Do you know what I mean? And that game's not as hard as what it looks on paper. So it's difficult. You know, I always look at the next 2. Arsenal have got Chelsea and Tottenham. They are 2 very difficult games. more so, no disrespect to Newcastle and Leeds. You take Newcastle and Leeds over Spurs and Chelsea. Like Aston Villa could.
No disrespect to Man Newcastle and Leeds. About Man City, Chelsea, and Tottenham. So about Arsenal to compare both teams. Next 2 games now just about on paper difficult and so change. The other and you come on and some Medina. You bet your coach. Your friend Mikel Arteta no pay. Mikel was say disappointed now. What is a manager can pay? Omu deserve hit na ebano show na ebo edebana oso omu deserve pa because we nya walls now show too but no friend no matebako as a gra no matimienu ekori ase tutu e ma se ya na kori na nyampa sa hit aye breeze na ebo ensom edebano omu deserve pa na manager be so twese eno result na cheso dwe ho a won ase e difficult so no abejatum say women Wolves also about draw now Premier League our requirement as our requirement and some standards now Wontumi pejanu sa standards na Wontumi show Wolves e mani ye na nka be se bia woni City B woni e bia Chelsea Man U B e bia Liverpool B e bia Chelsea B no Spurs B and some abona ye be say kwamai and also fast because about say we be on say the players na so omani ayebosa na anya bia kwamai no mafaswa woman some nebetimi left any plus up amanya me arma Sunday woman boss son of London derby anya gambia keke aya derby and yake Tottenham asa change omu coach Igor Tudor and some anaba yentie coach Mikel Arteta kwa woman faso adi akosa match ni mu.
You have to win and win and win. So that's an obvious thing. No? If you are at the top and you have to win and win and win. So that's nothing new. Everything will be like this from the first game when they play Arsenal. I think we need to go through the pain and you need to go through that, looking in the mirror and understanding that what the game requires now and the next action is on Sunday. That's it. Anything that we say from here to there, it's fine. But we need to keep all that in our tummies to show it on Sunday. That's what we have to do. That's an obvious thing, no? If you are the
free woman sweater banner Man City woman some not prepare and run now make catch on a pesa and you can say okay and will be catch on Sandra and I say game across so Man City for no woman some not a preparation latest say woman messages I na bubble was no and just a screen so any other sahadi we don't fold yen just yen jemo yes apostle masa dendende kita I just almost so somebody woman gum biana jamisa kansa enu kansa pressure form cry now I'm also prepare any akwa ball aye Newcastle just a weekend woman some game about so any adana manager no and some message I mean very simple woman kodo game our bene said odi kankasa woman da so home Arsenal ekomu ebasa wukom ebeye hyehyehye no eno won dwuma ana nyame ya no kwa kwesansa woman tiri ebasa when an opportunity and some animatim no na insider and so ade aba akonkonsa for no woman say eno na ni gia ba say nkrofo yi wo bi yan so Arsenal akwasha 6 akwasha ebia 7 na make statement ade yes woman tiri ebasa omo pressure and a day yes anyo me ade ato Arsenal so ana Man City for no some na tiri say baby omo turning point see ya a game against Liverpool because omo come no be on some omo sa chance no Liverpool asa she go abra match no ya boba say 80 minutes answer ana omo ya come back ho and you say omo tiri ebasa ne so omo tiri Liverpool dia and obi a waka bia no wo some ade be ya abra no kasa nkwata no and some awiata so a and no aye kakra fi omo so ya and the Bernardo Peno and some our Wontumi sport buffet and tumadi no so me no kasa o we fan say ana slot Liverpool wo coach on supervise ama training and some across our AXA womu we na wababa the press conference omo ebe ball Nottingham Forest me no ka say Nottingham Forest unum sam amapaw a whole different coaching staff na coaching staff no wobi am say coach na for Victor Pereira wanom Araba head coach Luis Miguel ay assistant Felipe Almeida and some ay assistant just Bruno Muranom and Pedro Lopez and ate woman you some accounting according to Nottingham Forest only say this season enquire Womo sake managers Emma Kuma Kumiensa Wamaya Kai Abramovich a time na sika almost spent and some almost 200 million pounds and your top players and your bar still now womo battle relegation and to Gaspar and Juma and some Arsenal eka say one Evangelos Pavlidis Jumano and the Gaspar and so atwa on the among sakeno one just Nottingham, one global head of football, also Olympiacos, as I am Gentuano, and our sporting director. What that a clubs in national casino, one of the top players never. Coach Neban went to me and find Juma. Nam Amasake, a coach Ama, Edu Gaspar, and so, and some Jumana coach na your first Anna slot, and was saying. And was Isaac Enyamai na Alexander Isaac and some other bar be at the month of March and be at beginning of April. I hope be and just Alexander Isaac and some other banana just yes casino be about 1 month call and 2 months a move and just Isaac and so about me recover now also confirming say Jeremy from Pong and some be and Yamia Duma we can take game and yes Jeremy and a ball no and just ominous game and Sana and yet Jeremy from Pono one some that's miracle and next week come home and I'm from Pon some other bar now coach and say Yama to just send one form a come power be kind of Caribbeano while the hour kind of cressa with the compare the last 3 months echo the last 4 months and the Liverpool form no and some upja and you may come and some other club no I do best work can you say gamer what will cock about just and nana Joe and on better say no man says who so be a queen bay and a Victor Pereira and the first with your ball Liverpool game mo because omunim said yana one some sia bo omu game no ntomara said ya not na be coach ababai one some na betimi ahwe ayesa game to match no dey e tell say be TV contest and say womunim ayesa dey not na for no and some ababa ayesa match no mo na on racism anu mo sa coach no so plan enu achi ya kwakobo ball ama chese Real Madrid akotana your fan Vinicius Junior once again yes say allegedly akoda ketwa no Cristiano eka say sabi oya day okan mprama kuma enum na owo ho asam kan ya bia de ne be ama chese racism no yebetimi atu ase wonum say Liverpool coach no say yedie wobi abetimi aye bi se bia o yesi anasa se ni ade ni nyina na wo ho abado obeso kan nyina na se untimi nyanyoma huhuhu ma ne nya huti se bia o wo ya ma bro so untimi nya too much and from too aye racism I say enom aye said your coach aye fan say ana slot and some didn't come out yin Liverpool coach our bra wo kasa dia fa Vinicius and some no.
Obviously, looking at those scenes, is enough being done to combat racism? And when you see scenes like that as well, what discussion does it provoke in your own dressing room in terms of maybe advice to your players if they were to face a similar situation?
I think in general, you can never do enough. You can always do more, and we should always try to do more to make sure this never happens again. And that's what I mean in general. I think we have to try as a world football community to do more than society does. That's maybe not so difficult, by the way, but and I think protocol has been followed during the game, so that's the first step. Now, and I think enough or too much. We can do enough, but we can never do too much. No.
In terms of advice to your players if they face a similar situation?
No, Wontumi nyanso man mosupi and some Liverpool coach game omo call aye Chesawe Cowboy Anthony Gordon what a man of the match award yin nim say Arsenal enya na omo per Man City bobokuo no womo so per ana for Liverpool team no womo so ya Anthony Gordon pa na Gordon kwadi amekai some years ago na was a club dana koma so pa Chelsea Liverpool Chelsea akra no so no bobo pa me no ka say no asem na report am say kan say Liverpool for no womo na nkamya so omo ya hura dikan Chelsea akra no womo so no betimi afa no bibia sesa boy no so no betimi adwo no boboku a ya fa no say Liverpool eno enso update free omo so ya enso na Bernardo Peno I was sure so Manchester United me for say report am nya no say enso mo Bournemouth abo eno aye somewhere 20th match na nyame arma sam match 20th amako aye Bournemouth akobono yes transport eho ba ya ikakana wo ma catch supporters ni nyina say wo better na coach emu say ta kano say bia bass emu ade akwahwa aye game ewa we no yes United for same way a free return coach transport na chesa o bano o saba Manchester no woman be fa ho kai na say we me provide buses and some adiama and some probia munya bi kra na mo fa no mo so tua aya chesa transport aya free ama me no kasa ni na no wo mo so aba so mo chese free return transport and no aba ya juma on the said date ama no pay no ya den nsem na ade bana dem say kan say you asumai wo mo scout eko nano Saturday wa bre ko ba sa San Siro game eba so Inter Milan enso mbo omu game no yese mayi mo ko scout eye Federico Di Marco ono no when your first time America say mayi for no peno na Federico Di Marco eye bia no ka say no mayi for so ko scout na motumba wonu so ebo omunya omu pe eno enso mayi update ba bia no wo so mu pe Liam Delap obakaya last year summer transfer market bi na aye Chelsea and Man na boy no from a Champions League account and ma kodanum prefer aye Chelsea to aye Man or buy will be on some let him say the sequel the mensa kan say Man for Jai ama Joshua Zexi ekwa wo mo ayo ma dwen say wo mo abako for Liam Delap and no aye update free Man for na so ye and some Bernardo Peno I was sure so Chelsea for ye train Liam Rosinia and aye about aye 130 and on the press conference no and also because before we Stefano one and some uncomedian was say Roda Nikrofo na sepa na bako aye Joao Pedro ana mienu aye Andre Santos o say woman aboanom ama o chese o settle in kama wo ko ba bi na so woni beka na betena se atimi aye adwuma eniye na bia homesick encho say we o me mafifie me se me kode a ene na so no so dasa for ya sepa na ono kwa no brafo no oyobi oguso aye classes a chese na o twibia no be twice edie we record English classes esuambo Africa eto no oka wote a chese wotimi kaka guso a wori sum esuam no o bronzo no na ne dai so pa no se dachi bia no we benya Champions League abo oba Chelsea we ma jeno fonso and was a Chelsea JC at the Champions League about a big moment o shego Liverpool mo Manchester nam ari ade e Premier League no nyina no wori sum ayobi onyase e wom anti am se serious ko no unbelievable so far was say extremely exciting and some other manner and no I am come out no one some dear ama Chesanano Peno ya den update tan dia kanin no and some at Emma now Argentina ya kwatana ya fan Christian Romero ono aye kuti captain Arma Tottenham Hotspur now boy there no one as was so because me kai pa say last year some a cab Nanko join Atletico Madrid. I know, and I'm a catch you say. Roma promise by this one qua omote armband Edmano. And I just want to say I just sanitary I won't corner Emza one who champion grana Kebian concern and Yoma Koyo or Banu to bomb now blaster I yes press I'm pan foniate. Then a former coach I found Ange Postecoglou. Yabetia Postecoglou essence coach them to buy no come on was akwara or jada boy no brutal was it Romero no now train done team no I different because watch World Cup into our Spurs one be a Chelsea ato Enzo be away after way woman the titles any day now about Spurs now kwakwaya sebi mambisa amuntimi fan challenge and je no brand so sanu man cross so was over to Dynamo Spa plus le cross no nyese bia suro se e bia me hu ana bi bat masa one onyo mi chese on so aya mediocre to so se bia mambisa nto no okasa aso bia tie a chese boys no kwa no wo mu twam ho esuro aya Romero na omo nhia sa boy na anka Europa League no mo je every Manchester United and some no ankomuntimi because boy no the attitude ano and ka ho Manchester Spurs wo mo je Europa yinti post Koglu adanse
does he cross the line? Yeah, he does. You know, he'd cross the line of training sometimes, and the coaches go, "Oh, you know," I go, "Well, you go tell him. I'm not telling him." You know, but you need that mentality in a group. Now, how you control it, you need to harness that. You kind of hope that he.
Do the players like him, respect him?
Respect him enormously. They fear him. Yeah. You know, you don't want to get on his because he, you know, you got to remember his whole existence is not just Tottenham. He's also an Argentinian national team. He's won a World Cup. Yeah. And he's mixing with players, and I think part of his frustration, his outburst about the club, is that he's mixing with a Fernandez or a Martinez, and he's saying, well, how come they're signing players to win and we're not? Why? I want to win. Yeah. You know, so like I said, we would never have won the Europa Cup without him, and I think you need characters like that in your dress. You've got to control them. Control them. I don't think control them is the right word. You try and steer them in a way where the good outweighs the bad, but you also got to accept that there's going to be bad. Yeah. He's not scared of anything, mate.
I am my former coach, Emma Spurs, or Red Fans, and Postikoglu, and I'll just say, what dinner, quite an one dance. Okay, so Baby Cross, maybe I bet me control, or sit down, be control, and yet the right word because I could away, young control, no mum, we bet me at Tenasa, who's Stiana Caclao, Teneha, Farame, so because we will control Argentina, Yakoda, one more South Jena, many Jananian power, bring your boy Williams and Europe no anyane so betimi antia me no ka say Real Madrid omo training session egusua eno so na koso nyame ya ma weekend wo bo Osasuna ya ba no na chesa fei ana Vinicius no ana chesa players aka nyina no wo drive era aye Vatebas ama chesa omo training session no eno so na koso na Vini ensensma bai ama UEFA wo can statement enso bai no investigation ebe koso na German President na pen say according to UEFA omo so omo say womo disciplinary aye chese team no womo ebe start omo dwumade but ana evidences awasa wokata na chese ne ma hodo a awasa ban nyina no womo so metimi ayusi bes na otwem yensa and say ebi aye wo say wotena bi womo the findings ebe ba ebi next week bi womo so ade ne kan say ebi a verdict ebe ba domo kan nyina no say ebetimi ataki womo bes na otwem yensa ansa na ruling and abba and no allegations womo level ade ti akotan na ye fa no say Prestiani ama chesano aye UEFA so womo so ade atuka na Benfica for no yese womo so mpani for no so womo chese womo omunya ready so be investigate womo supporters so say bi obi say awasan ka bi a club no investigate womo supporters no mudi aye Vinicius atam na o tuwe sabi womo dam na wobi meka wa na wo kan wo hu bi da say wo to anu afa bo na wato e de bo bi kam adan am kondo say me pai bi a glass ani ade what bi da e ru sa koda na nya hwea e ba no sen ana supporters womo so to mo ba bi womo so aye so mo so kan de ensem fata ensom ade a chere vini no enti say na tedi womo investigating na investigate chere eno aye sema answer now memen sa kan de fi Benfica so ya de aye sa update no ensom ade ba na according to La Liga womo report say afi incident Emma Kumako 26 another player in question out of the 26 you know emu 10 different stadiums and also to me kind of stadia there's 26 incident and I only answer racially na say bia sebi obi ka sebi o we tuntum o ya gay and I say dinner terminal akoso mpe e makoma aduonu ensia e wo 10 different venues and I say La Liga for one so do mo records no and some de aba na report amenya no say Real Madrid omuma and scout a communita Ederson yaka Ederson na waka sa Atalanta come Champions League I was Signal Iduna Ederson about 6 on omo monitor no and Giorgio Scalvini omo ye say we must say monitor sa kwada na mum sa game no omo ma Giorgio Scalvini amobi ntinya de sa we munya no mum Ederson de Madrid scout no and some etimi monitor na ye dey update about Barcelona we mum man team no report am eba no say afedie we mum beki omo return our Camp Nou answer eba no Champions League ye yan Camp Nou enu no na man ntimi mo game ho ba dem say kan sa fei we mum the announcement about say final Champions League matches na Barca for a man eba bono we mum some eba say dia call ye kan say Camp Nou am I know and some update about okay orona ye fan one Gaspard na one Gaspard a former president and some Barca only what do come and say hey mon secretary and Quadano na mun kano kwanin trauma na players ni hie na my also on person be kan referee asem kra Barca kobo game na nkoya oba was na referee no na sanka bore eye foul na mi kwan sanka vaji go na mi kwan sanka den na ma me say papa no say masa mun kano kwanin tran koda no say wo munyiro wo ball no wo ma oba e find excuses wo nsuan de wo ma oba e find excuses Tria kebia 3-2 ka o meka se bia referee no bi tia obi ene ade tumun kan kra no ensom enkyere mo e wa bra no pe no eye kakra fi o maso de ba ho nsem no nyina no ye de ema ye te for ene anopai ensom o wo shoro so mayu wo mo communicate atroba safo say yene mo na tena se ne ka se bia kwada ne mamono wi a 30 million euros so won koma nansa me kan che so ane ye Marcus Rashford na omonte bibia so omonte so na ente so tena unisika onto awonto ne ade eno ensom update be na no pe no ye de ema ye te fon so e wo shono so na Rodrigo di Paul asem wei menim say supreme kan pa dia unia anam yensa mimi kom utum say ada tabloids and yet oma fana Rodrigo di Paul say oko US omuli gomo bono nije den eche sa woje aye Champions League e wo Europe na sa woje aye Major League Soccer no esi wa aye Champions League ayon kokura brava bre ansa no woje Major League Soccer na Champions League yourself aha Rodrigo di Paul no aye fancy na ye na be twafo ne ba me ya to aso presence my birthday and baby abe fine birthday the same say I will send you message you be so later on the show I be celebrant you be be a wish and so the amanunti I enter new na baby fine there
kakra ya kakra pa
okay me say baby I ko
eno cross on this year o say no cross this year cross on board o
oh Sam only time
I see this year on board
new Steve say be
no say me pekosia creative man
very necessary
coffee na
I fa kakanta to
oh me akwa Janet Bachelor say nyem toma mo ya no maton to masa
mo fa kakanta to
I no bra say toma
papa bi na oye ina guy bi ko no hono say o iskani pa no so ene akwasi woni nyame nko so ora se jika krefa cars
da yankopon da bia ne
na da ni unyam wo mu chen se wo nyame nko no nti wo de kakra na man ka ba
wo ti ya baba so full house e wa ha nu mo me na ntie
yeah well me start my stories no wo and now come I starting na on racism le Vinicius on come on. I wouldn't want to have more time spent on that subject, but acquire river a tremomanim oh no one kabisa no. But unfortunately racism any treatment yaw dear mimi hu no any treatment now the causes reasons and repercussions you know. And you feel it, but I don't think it has a treatment. Racism, I don't think it has treatment, any treatment. Now, the Adenike Kono, a yawa person watching who free one, or okay, wunchi, ni baby a free banner, or has a ball bono, no free game them, ya no call home. But since your campaign, play a beat, your support to no, young for you go to German conform, young and some could say, you have started born a young Katiani, Jamie be any one ma, but my racism metrum. As I may come at the Etrumuko in Chima Baba to us. Racism, I don't think so. Metrum. La Liga de Abasse 26 different incidences.
Yeah.
And I happen around Vinicius on Kwan as a player. 26
this season. 10 different stadiums. Yeah.
Etwetwema dwe kakra o. Yaw. Tony Abua mudi kan o Frankfurt no. Na ni patuntum fo no bebre ni kan ko game no musa. Sameko fo mo borra ban no. Da bia me ka cheko tanko say that time no mo borra mo Bundesliga no mo yade pa because she na Ukraine yeso racism. At that time na ko tanko mo ko ene. Na wiase me yo. AI sorry internet kura na wo hefa but some ko form fight hard e bomb do person bo bia no bokoye madwene kire say o ya ade o ya praku yankopon won sisi nipa o say dey catch am rofo no ye nyina na mo krum say dey ye dey sakate ano aye ka no ye ka amoso ka bi kire. But why has it happened 26 times in 10 different stadia around one player? Ono ko ni patuntu obo woni bi me atwetwe madwene so. And even in the definition of sports as a whole, of America, of boxing, of Formula 1, yeah, or the football account, America for you, yeah, whatever way you want to see sports, you know, yeah, I'm some blacks now, a champion, blacks I have journey on all fronts. It means sure said that a tiny free hobby or the answer so you a color. Jordan Kala no to be chane. It's my Vinicius place more time, more attention on this. But the video be ma me person share that video no. To watch the TV the other one ni share Vinicius or your field no so. The other one dwene ebebu as any power ye. Uba you ho as a fanatic of Real Madrid or whatever. Now be share Vinicius as a content crow an individual you sue our field no so no. Yeah, he will always be calling for this attention. Yeah, who Paulo Di Canio? Yes. Even Paulo Di Canio, talent, he has extreme ability on the ball. Do the ball need be offer, but penny subai. As a moja one can casabi, or say your offer, so that's what she. Yataka. Vinicius, no, Madrid chance or trival one chaos, our hokakra. To say you go Costa Mudibino. A muya de decacra, a boamo. Se bia Joe. Yeah, not on Penasa to be because yeah, okay, 10 different stadiums. So, when you're about Vinicius, so and also no quantity Petumano or Jaffield. So, if you have to claim be a manipulative Bobo baby, so why has it always been about Vinicius? Now yet to move on encore, and in any case, Balotelli mono, Kevin Prince Barty Solomon Terry, what to be called racism na big question. Yeah, you kind of crunch when you move on and court. Not Vinicius, but you free by no yes, you can find Kodi Krumu. No, come one in my memory the bush and four. But I can't watch Europe. Spain, Hono crowd, come on, and then a 2 hour or my chrono Ujama racism. You don't know, eh? Yankopon, she so when you play or tackle injury prone or tackle injury, and that is talk about drop your Madrid. No, once a Madrid, young Kuma, ɛnyɛ Madrid meka literal statement big clubs no oyɛ o time so na akɔ yɛne wawie na akɔ ɛnyɛ baabi a sɛ ɛne na ahyɛ mu gyesi no mbɛkonkon yama wo asɛm meka o de ma Vinicius ne stock ɛmfɔle na ɔkɔ so nyɛ de ɔyɛ sɛ Madrid bɛ back na he has to stop this and move on. You can't fight racism. This is solely my opinion. And young Kwan, the black person wants to want to call the Bian Kwan. No, it shouldn't be the case. It is something that has to be treated and pay. But unfortunately, it is never the case. Na impo ushe video no pano ne president nyaye no na Vinicius ekasa wo ho.
Sam
your school no wokɔ kanto kɔ dormitory a na ona ba kyerɛ nipa no wɔ so ɔno so nyusu fantia wo ɔmo fa video no ma wɔ ha ana pan me hyɛ da hwɛ after that incident no Vinicius can 1-2 bi ɛna guy no twe ata ne hyɛ na Vinicius onyina ho din ɔde nsa gu no bo na onyina ne ba bi a ɔdwene ne ho ade na asɛm ifa twɔ mani ho asɛm ya de ne fa kama venga ho why ade de bia look me say ha no me hu so okay ka bi kyerɛ boy na ha he called for it on fa o maame nkosi a wo SS da bia ya wo on fa papa nkosi a wo papa ya we so wo to school body 7 say hu na ya kan only say papa say o ko kan tokwa wi ade be free other side ho be ba no akọ kan tokwa no ye maame o ti fie da babia ye pia de akọ kan tokwa ye uni say ye u say ye maame mo ya we o ko ka che referee say but o gira ho hwe video ni dia na o ka bibi ho o hwe video ni dia o mama few words bi ho eno na me kan tokwa na wo kan the reply e be ba no de me ndwane ko ka bibi fa nche obi but this is it your no one career you who plays bebree and my body ni be dey akiro no you can't fight racism in the end no obey unpopular yeah your mama fan is you Bukayo Saka say it is not so much about recurring theme you see the word theme no now me imagine me say it's time for us to reflect on the last few performances and fix the issues immediately. Adena Arsenal should go lead the game na no mama kwan opponent rebam. One, is it down to mental stress, physical drop, or tactical switch from the position? Or sometimes kwan obi anko be wunu beat me see. And your opponent na be change BB at the game na free. Sometimes change be obey. It's my opponent na so ba game. What has been the situation? Okay, me fan on why are we anticipating fear? Say, Arsenal Premier League, no, Arsenal why that fear? And let me who internet. Mikel Arteta, almost trainer for professor so trophy them.
On a pep there now.
And a pep watching. Why are we all anticipating fear? Why na mabusa ni nyina no de me ofia me dwene ho say maybe Arsenal any performance class bia. Omni performance class. Omunye bi, especially with this guy Arteta, onye bi enwie and you can say, oh, the equity sorry, we know this guy, but because Pep has been doing it,
so be I can say Pep D.
More so. Na Pep experienced guy. Tiasana company kafano no. One say Arsenal Tiashia or Tiashia the timer season no. Or the Champions League now Wolves ababe won under normal circumstance collectively individually Wolves among men Arsenal, but there's a bit of an anticipated fear. The border tournament we forget say Wolves a pet him na ke koye nim na you refuse say we must betimi ahaya na as soon as that happens it gives that opponent an extra strength na fi odi etia yo Arsenal performance class be no more. We've seen that of Liverpool and that club. Or sorry, say we just so we best stop now. Maybe a Man City or some occasionally Crystal Palace Babu free be near the Yans Maka. But me dream home back because me say so nya dream wo me trim say. At the time of Mikel Arteta, I try say or best solve the creativity problem no. Ah, ko fa ezebai na so but try Saka so behind the striker or try waiting around. Oh, is that way and try? Oh, maybe I say not do and try, but I far is a buy say, oh, what you got into me creative behind strikers or converted from 4-2-3-1 free no the ojem fifini ntimi nane a creator kuma scorer so mame kofa ezemra look for ezebai na kakra but now saying the fact that odi Bukayo Saka ho komo say Eze really hasn't solved the problem but check ya dey be Pep Guardiola here Pep de wa anya chop and change ne matrama kwai say me try a show Pep just fixed it and also fast and all fixing na or implemented dynamics there be am kwan me fa so wini me kwan fa so share in Haaland but person Mrs. Sam he only implemented dynamics on the team especially in the final third Doku Savino Mamouche adwuma mu ye ni nyina no se menyo timi ye asaso timi show presence in the box so our creativity in Doku Shaki Savino but a dynamic number 9 be obetimi adane ne nsaka kra nye da bia kwan na the established pattern of fashion but this is Arteta our tries to look or solve a creativity problem at this bench of the season when it's a Champions League when it's at the FA Cup or the Chelsea when it's at the no statistics be am dem Shadrack mame run it through CCA on for attacking and kwamame in terms of goal production all the seasons are quite no and until man focus now for where Arsenal they don't for Man City they don't to the other side name for me na ye say team for team Arsenal ho nkyere sa but baby Arsenal ho kyere no baby a company can ho asem no me ba be ready ho de atwa to on for Arsenal they to one side in for me na me reading the truth quickly Arsenal they are really producing good numbers all sectors of the field Arsenal numbers in here power and if we think say Man City or former or the D Arsenal or Hannah, our numbers in Munchesa, touches in the opposition box, touches outside the box, shots produced per 90 minutes, goal score outcome as compared to the SG. Arsenal and City move very, very close. But there should be differences in our company say it's not really about tactics. It's about this mentality to always want to win everything, to see every game as an important game. No difference between a game against your main rival and a game against a team from the second division. Having this mentality to always win be there.
On your screens, sending our open or no?
Yeah, Arsenal net about 27 game. 27th game near the Obotia Wolves. Man City about 26. Compare these numbers. SG expected goals are as a Man City channel. 47.75. But with me I produce 54, which is so close for them Man City. No? SG for Arsenal 46.35. How different is 46.35 from 47.75? It's almost one goal per any difference between these two digits. And look, Arsenal share 52, Man City share 54. How many goals are differences? Need 2. Opa, check their defense. Touches in the opposition box 906 from Arsenal. Touches from opposition box 867 from Man City. Look at just that. In terms of these numbers, Arsenal even having lesser quality in the final third. Over Haaland was so way. Essing Trossard. Arsenal in this jokers. Over Trossard, check his Doku Trossard. Somebody a lot to be going for Doku. But check him more. Do you have Shoki in the Arsenal squad? Even a new crisis of economy. Yeah, we still see them ahead of these Arsenal boys. Eze Mo Mokofomaba. Folding is ahead of Eze. So, imagine say there's a bit of intense pressure on Mikel Arteta and the boys to win a big trophy. Won by virtue of how many years I would do Arsenal.
Wontumi.
And then a footballer is and then in the years a custom for budget say. But to be very honest, if you really want to understand this game, me say Arteta in this duration I was still Arsenal. No. The level I would do, Obisa obet this hat trick of second. I mean, this why you Juma? Why you Juma? When you see our market, why you Juma? But the sources is so close. A self and a judge for no. Ederson and Amwa. The judge for no. Yeah, Ederson and Amwa. Maybe me name the time no but if me nya small sawa hono okay and mama jalo
wo me da say new mamemra meza ho na afi meza so fa kakramra
yeah ma encheti fo biem the fear of the past Adebakwa the other time you know discussing when Arsenal me fi no ame home so ya me fi no is it waka bi abeti me fi asare bodu SRC president me fi you yeah now I think said there's a cause for alarm, there's a cause of caution, and at the same time no there's a cause of hope for situation be Arsenal finding themselves in. And now one particular resource Senka Arsenal crown compete for the league and all compete for top 4 and also second crown or board there will be frustration. The reason being that say Obo Wolverhampton Wanderers team are all Euro league in him. Now we should 2 no bet it 2 in this same fata say was say adechia obitina baby ebo abaso anaso nya hope say obitimi the IBB. Yow Arsenal fans were the right to be afraid. Say league no anhwa de SCP no ebi betimi asaye dey SCB. Another section of Arsenal fans so you're right say omubenya hope say season e baby ekeka kono still na ye betimi aboye homodin atimi agi league na manaye dey amana yi baby obi free baby ano eto asumo the osuro no say City do achi a yaw in the past 5 seasons, City Beji League Biana, he does not lose more than even 3 matches. Draws bebem die. Nemum olusu bebre, draw no sunye bebre. Liverpool Beji League last season, obo draw makuma 9, olusu 4. They are kenyi na osho bia. Her stretch no muko mu no. I'm yet to see a Premier League title winning team. Within the last few stretch here, Arsenal come no. Or many the level of inconsistency when it comes to results. They said the Arsenal in the last 5 seasons. It raises a cause for alarm. Pep Guardiola do it here. We show because Makasa said we actually say the reason why when we started the season, Meka say Guardiola ever had Renier say encore 2 seasons without winning a league title in his career. And only Bako. He is the most experienced manager in the league in terms of winning it. Coach is now called league in the Munino. Obian one money league in the Pep Guardiola.
Yes.
Obian. So it will raise a level of fear for Arsenal fans to say, hey, match you 2-2. But they be say the fear of the past. Say, so overcome here. These are some of the most. So I really love what Mikel Arteta said after the game. Obia Obeka say Arsenal be able to league in the no way right. Because be CPM. But Mikel Arteta say if they want to show say they are ready to win the title, they need to go to Tottenham Hotspur or no more Tottenham Hotspur. No more 4 points in free no be a. It is true. Because as it stands now, Omuni City in terminal 1 outstanding game. Omuni leading Manchester City by 5 points. City Ebebo Leeds United next game. City Ebebo Newcastle United next game. Arsenal boss Spurs so we are about Chelsea. Also, Hannah Metina and Kacho said the next 5 games will determine whether one will lead it or be Beji League na another one. Okay, sir, and Komona me did was a week ago. So 5 games in the started kind, no. Arsenal shemu bako. Walusu wadromu mienu. Obobomu mienu enchebia. Manchester City started in Washemubi or the Boba. The next 2 games will be very crucial for Arsenal. Because Oma City ebe sign with an outstanding gamer. That means you've literally given it out for Manchester City to come into the contention when it comes to winning the league. They're very important, the man. You only can react to this by going to the Lions then and picking points. The only thing you can do here say one match no the fan say show games in City sheni die no shane outstanding they can when you 2 points. Uchi 2 points near every league now find the league no. So it's all a matter of being on the same consistent form and pushing further forward for it. But yeah, as same way they be able start season now I say team picky at the start of the season as susuma when this is the moment where you expect your teams to pick. Guardiola is lucky. So somebody in Manchester City is picky. So look at their results in the league. Games will be an say City where they are not City abeshow. And it is due to the fact that omu weakness is going to the market. You see, Mameka same way say, yaw, Mikel Arteta will sure be beer ya DG Premier League back the back pay.
And
yaw, share. A terrible also to share the dark arts when it comes to the transfer market. Arsenal needs to learn that. Why not in compete for league, you know? City equal in for Antoine Semenyo. Omuko in for Magui. At least the Mubako Arsenal should have been there.
Said the City basically has splash cash, you know.
Is it? Yeah.
There is no way Arsenal.
Yeah.
Which me I say.
There is something I'm saying we call dark art.
Okay.
Which na many new team come say Ferguson used to do that. Or sure now a threat man and now could play a bit a bit my boy more team beside no room into the market. The club should be able to detect. So within the next 2 months, this is what is going to happen. Because you do projections and I'm a boy. It's in a whole year old your budget. So that dark art no. Between Gay and because if City should win the league, these two players now City Aji League, you know. Nobody can convince me otherwise. Because Maguire has brought a certain level of leadership and stability. Oh, Manchester City, consistently game after game, he is showing the reason why City paid that amount of money for him. Antoine Semenyo cried the young Kasabi, yaw goes no shana on share. Ellen Haaland echo on a poor run of form. And community obiti say Antoine Semenyo ka City asobe she pop. He comes in and he's still banging in the goals. These are two players who have made a difference. Now you are competing against the City team. Obibeka Serena Guardiola Nasika and Debbie. If you want to push for the league and you want to work hard and push in and put rivalries and don't cover more that our own 10 league now, you need to do those kind of things. Yeah, Bomafia Nibi. Bomafia Nibi. And then she videos of Muchafagi okay so. Sheze, Shebukayo Saka. And right after the game, look at the body language of these players. Yeah,
no, broken.
Somebody should get into that dressing room and speak sense into their head.
And who is that somebody?
The coach, Mikel Arteta himself. Now, Uchini 5 points. There is a cause for alarm, but there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Cause for alarm is City they do it, but the hope is only this City 5 points. The fear of the past, and so when team overcome it will break you down again, and obviously lose 2 or 3 games at once. So you pick up the next game quick, pick up the pieces. My form them pija. Despite say form na Arsenal woman no enya the edge title. Nemum season we so nchire say other teams omo Arsenal pre-league no. I'm using the word say omo exceptional. They are not exceptional. Even the City team is not exceptional. They should just win their next game against Spurs. Yeah, North London derby. Share. Give your all. The latter stage, give your all. Number 2 turning point by the final of the EFL Cup. Edura will be there. But I think for Arsenal, a series, the fear of the past will come in. There is always hope because Ochi City move 5 points. Oceania standing game the cry say 2 points. Keep up the pace. Yeah, Bodo Honem say hobo boy ya.
Run to me.
Or more off season. City akọ akọjene de. Tottenham ko ball draw. Inter Milan akọ akọjene de.
Oko share Atletico Madrid.
Wasa ko share Atletico Madrid. Yeah. So team we kaya 2 or 3 seasons ago na Moshe Jose Mourinho AS Roma 6-0 no.
Yeah.
Not so much big names within their setup, but I think they have an unbelievable story when it comes to the Champions League and European competitions. Yeah, they are not your team to win the tournament at the end of the day, but they light it up. Yeah, omomo when it down also. But for Christian Kivu, yeah, it will be a total disaster. Say an Inter Milan team, you see, their task when you Dema Kivu new. Before Befa Inter Milan team, no Inter Milan team we have UEFA Champions League final. Ya wanya baku. Omo baku in 2022-2023. Abebo baku last season ya. A host of these players omo team nim do na free 2022-2023 na bi da so team nim. I say sa gidi sa. Omo sa ko transfer market mu di bia be kan wa ma last year omo boy and this season we are hoping for a better Inter Milan. Now yeah, you have the Champions League in that round of 16. One team Mobi play off. When a you free more Bodo Glimt, unless something supernatural happens at the Stadio di San Siro. But I think the next round, the next round of the Champions League will produce a lot of miracles. Okay. Especially looking at the first round, the crumple of results at certain teams. We are baby deba. If you have overturn it, and one of them will have to be Inter, and I think they have the men to do that. Yeah, omo me man so omo say Club Brugge no. Bodo ne club, so two teams, you know, Copenhagen so can kakra. Champions League no mube mo do ma omo ho say. Akesefo no omunya ano mate. But it opens it up for I think an interesting second round of games which we really enjoy.
Mate, me da say. Steve Bray.
Yeah, says Fabregas a critique an unpopular niche for himself award the Serie A. And he came up against AC Milan when himself reverse fixture no 3-1. Now a lot of the times Oshia the big boys in the Serie A or end with some comments here and show respect to the other managers and the coach. So when after the game now I like Greek chance you see I feel like he's speaking bigger than Ejuma now Oye.
Fabregas.
Yes, he's speaking bigger than Ejuma Oye. And Como no a club on also war investment together with Thierry Henry and a couple of people. Maybe I did define who becomes a big manager. And as a manager that you can entrust a club. And Como. Maybe a pressure one. That is where real managers are defined and polished. Into starting a craft in a year. In fact, so Como Omo game no more, I am very pleasing to the eye. Unse they string passes together and they are ultra attacking base side. Into Omo ball not the FA pa. But at the bigger clubs, now that is not what they will be looking for. It's about the mentality living up to the task. So I feel Fabregas I loved on the pitch. Me who player I can say so be bought the role of a midfielder or finding a striker to score. I don't see many players or more bet ahead of him, sir. Fabregas can be KDB, Fabregas, Iniesta and Dems. But he's that guy. Or yeah, they on the field. But the comments be Siriano. I feel he has to give respect to Omu deserve it. Yeah, Arsenal some now Messiah care about signings Pep Guardiola. It's one thing having the right signing, and it's another thing getting the signings to work.
Okay, you wait me at all. But Oba,
yes. Enti Aku Evenze Isaki Abe flop this season. Abe flop this season.
No why.
The Mufa no free Luton Town, the friend. Della. Abe flop for our season.
Expectations of the man went.
So what I say?
What Friday is any excuse?
Before so
I want to engage him.
And what flopping?
Before so Friday.
It's just the first season.
I think I would him.
Isaac. Oh man. Steve Crab and I me ya so Liverpool ni. I say or the ya will be a shame.
Yeah, what kind of crazy?
Say no credit say Isaka flop.
It's been no why there.
Oh no.
Ya to 100 and 110. Ya to almost 150
for feel. Oh, Madrid win first season Madrid. Yes, some West signing and now you
But they improved.
He will improve. I mean,
excuse the fact that
he has been a flop this season.
He was a flop for Madrid. But he
and Isaac is of first season. We can say
oh, Isaac. No,
and there's a players almost
flop is strong, mommy. He has been a big crack.
No, I
for the dog kakra.
Okay, Isaac by and 5.
And 5, yes, I know.
Oh, per romance, say penetration. Foreplay, open saying.
Yeah, so goom.
So, yeah. Meza I an excellent submission about what Arsenal. Jananka, so he will be on the Bekasa. That is the scariest part. Yes, he is not the right man to speak to the player. And maybe Omodri, and yet he will be back.
I said time I don't knew Ekase. I was say on the boys in the Kasana. I was about asking you, say, a dear no moment, Jia. Obey the boys now come on, Modia at 2 meetings. The manager no crano, or ye saying 10 years. I'm playing with me.
Yeah, football, a repetitive action. But 2 ingredients be how to mean in film, the science of it and the psychological aspect of football. What mean in film? Share me club or successful. No only real leaders are on team. The success of Mourinho, you can go back and you attribute it to leaders in terms of personality. I know who won team. Maluda, Anelka, Terry, Essien, Mikel, who else? Cavallo, Balak, Lampard, Solomon Kalou. Jeremy team are successful. Go to the Barcelona team under Pep Guardiola. Jeremy Inter team under Jose Mourinho eje treble. Who players are now? Most of them are leaders in their respective right. Odegaard himself, he's not a leader. He's with the armband, but not a leader. Into Arsenal team more clearly, Obia or exhibit signs of a true leader, no, Declan Rice. So, Arsenal, the end of us all tears here. How many Wolves we share in the first league? The worst team in the league. And Arsenal share 2-1. 2-1 now Arsenal share. On goals. And the Wolves now share. In that game, Arsenal won 2-1.
Wolves now the ball 2 on goals.
Ashen 2 on goals. And Omaba. Na assembly or what Jose sa ne nasama oka na mama niaji. It's like a military man and I say a soldier or the war front are defending the nation. Well, who's will be who? But say o free mu as a gallant warrior. Into I say
Ubekuno yet on my own fan
easy. Also Ajia to say o share the gap at Daho between Wolverhampton and the rest of the clubs. But they don't want to be the worst team in the history of the Premier League. So they did the least points across relegation. And Derby County was our record 206 to 207 208 season. I am 11 points. And Wolves point here in Yamamako saying 10 points. So they want to better that points gap. And Mikel Arteta gave him now me care about signings. There's the difference between getting the right signings and getting them to work. The contrasting issue here is that Pep Guardiola after Antoine Semenyo, he has set the ground running. Wafa Magay, he's performing. Arsenal assigned Victor Gyökeres. Noni Madueke. He's not that guy. He's not performing the way he expected to also perform. Arsenal I have signings ahead of this season. But you ask yourself, say, has he got them working? Because at this point, say players be changing the fortunes when they gets tougher. It should be Eberiche Eze, Victor Gyökeres, and Noni Madueke, Zubimendi Dems in the team because Omo Mohon de who Omo de Dada. Baby Omodri a deja vu. Baby Omodri. The Abeboas na say they should just we say almost stars never Babebo in matches be a match.
Run to me,
especially against Newcastle and the other games. But Premier League na chess so Obeji League na and you wins are winning against the top 4. And the wins you get against so-called mid-table and then Omo from home. They are still in the lead. But the SCC previously, no, actually say, near Arsenal, they will be shaking. And that is Pep Guardiola. Now, from this point, Pep Guardiola post-match and pre-match a psychological battle. Obeko the way Mourinho used to operate. I say, Obeko used to a lot of mind games to get at Arsenal. That is what you'll be using.
So Hassan we knew to Castle sank by this time. Atita to bomb amount one money Guardiola the dada. Nankomumi no more say a banasana psychologically. Utimi ye the ope.
Yeah,
because of course as our printers now wapon wana still down almost time with the car be chum one no he say be a one your cars maybe ya on side enemy.
You see, go back to the post match after game. No? Any other manager in Mourinho Klopp will absorb the pressure. Becca said, didn't you enjoy the game? This is a wonderful game of football. Obey the narrative about bottle, no absorbing the pressure. Why? Because he has the experience. He has been there before. But when experience now, when you're in a failure, near man, no fall off. Into DMB no sound buckle up in moments like this. Into from this time to May or June one be real league, you know. Open say Mourinho, Guardiola and some canning in ano. Sankoye Java, a psychological game on the.
I say chance in you, but what should you
me go as now?
San Seminole, okay, we know two of the symptoms.
Yes.
So bosses are who go.
Now, the Ebesama as Man City any advantage in say. As footballers, our Magic League will be questioning the ability of the Arsenal team. So all the discussion around Arsenal be negative. Now, Omasa go back to what Guardiola is capable of doing. Manager,
honestly, here football. Well, Steve, may I say, Mike, my memory.
Fancy me that say. Chill be
also massage your Facebook no be more.
Hey, and they are.
As you see, we na kana me. Anye issue kran to the yenkwe no.
Well,
so YouTube no dey adwuma manfo no say manfo ho no ma omo monitor nti yenkwe no.
Newton eka assembly e kwan bi so mene ne ya adwen, kwa bi so mene ne nya adwen. In that Newton is racist. I'm saying this emphatically here. Newton is a race has exhibited a certain level of racism. Ojitum. Etia wankasa ho we ni patuntuma na me. One way or the other you've demonstrated racism. No matter a quantity, whether a iota na say ne kesiemu, you've exhibited racism towards your own color. Ojitum. Ni patuntum die na Ghana for die na black man mentality. Ojitumsa. Exactly. That's why I said that. It is not to tag any one of you here. Say momo ye racist na mumbuni patuntum. But racism a ideology, I believe, but again it's also a systemic practice. You institutionalize racism for a certain political agenda. And for the interpersonal ones anyway, near dear, of course between Vinny Jr. and boy no, Gianluca Prestiani. I would do my term or frame me. But me no, it is premised on a certain cultural and historical background. So I agree to Newton to an extent when he says Vinny cannot stop racism. And then racism to a larger extent cannot be stopped. And I'm a boy.
Yes.
But we can make rapid progress. Anything I was a Vinny moyed your moyeno. When Ibrahim Sunday, I think Ibrahim Sunday is the first black African to play in Germany. Time Ibrahim Sunday kobo wa Germany no. It wasn't like this. Sanko omo anko pevi we nanto ho. Omanko twase bi anto we mbie kwan nanto mu a. Kenden ki enya ne sei. Minim se de make wate ase a. Sanko bi ambe pregana fa ho di an kenden me ne wo. See a pride yourself in freedom and justice. Ye de epe. Nki bia ye enya ne sa. Someone had to take radical decisions. Whether say a man for any just a man for so they had to step in and act even against their own freedom, particularly Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah demu at a point in time he had to Abakra not order prison, but it was for what? Ghana's independence. And then there he did it home. That is the same as the fight against racism. Racism, colonialism, they were not distant cousins. They were tools that were used to segregate society, indicate classes of people, and then also labor wenti. And ye be me tuntum for na koye dwuma siesie abrofo ne kuroma momo. Inti colonialism nie, racism nie, dey na di slavery by. Ote say abrofo ne dey omo gu shape mo ye dey nkaba gu omo nsa. They will segregate. Ye be classify it say what dey ade gu so ne na wo so ne so. Racism is societal sieving. Time sonne so meyi. Na de enya ne ya eden. Ya to agum. Ti etumugu plantation mu ana mo ye adwuma no. But are you getting the point? So let's do a bit of academic exercise here. So that we get the understanding very clearly. Racism definition is the belief, ideology, or system that ranks human beings based on race or ethnicity. And the Ghana, there is something brewing. Yadwin koso. Ana meme de me domani, ana meme de me papa sin asantini, ana meme de me asantini, ana meme de me papa sin awonani, ana nkran for se yempe akwa ba ye pe obake. We have ne wus esuno no a trait of ethnicity racism no again it goes to resulting in unequal treatment, discrimination, or disadvantage. That is prejudiced attitude. Then again, beliefs or behaviors between individuals. Then there is the institutional one, another systemic, embedded in organizational policies. And yes, Sadia, show me the last time a black man became FIFA president. What will be that?
The last time a black man coach Premier League.
Exactly. Institutional level, organizational. You don't find a lot of black referees in the Premier League. You will not find a lot of black referees in Spain. It is not for anything at all. There is a certain population by the way you may be as our population where no more do one nyange and as our race where no more do no mu nyange. That is the point. And then the tree in Krobi any a mind be no. Portugal. Nya Mozambique for ni Angola for any DR Congo for any Swakugua or Mochichiri Kuri. Brazil be Brazil. Yam Fabian Kugua san Chomumunsia. Why today we have some cultural resemblance. Yani Omonio Mabise, Jamaica ni Edin Komo. We are seeing now at it is a transformation from a different era to another era. Free the era of kingdoms to now yeah, democracy, democratically elected government. But first, and then I hear two ways I acquired so the kingdom of way. But you can read through Portugal and Salazar. Quite fast with your mind. Yanti Debia na General Franco and Madrid and Spain. And why certain elements of Spain as it is now still feel they don't belong to Spain. Catalonia for any basket for you. So again, another form of the racism they make about the interpersonal. Inti the raw trim mama to him say ni patin tum de wadwene adwin fe trim. So it has become common saying, oh, na black man mentality, na black. One of the raw trim.
It's a black man.
With black sense. Society almost say the curse of Ham. Na ekra de boy dia na obi kra se Nyankopon bo ni pewie no. Netie na kakra kai no de bo bibini no to yegu a. Unti bi da. Yes, after the adene you come to accept it. That was what Mourinho was trying to do. And I kick it out of the almost statement, man. Almost say Mourinho is gaslighting. What is gaslighting? Or manipulate you to doubt your perception of what you said or what you think you heard. I'm sure I said now you say be on. So that is how these things work. So new Vini money. It is not because they are stubborn or they are problematic, but there are people who are radicals and even if it would but Vini will choose to act in a different way to help the fight against this canker. It will not end in today. It will not end in 50 years. But we will make progress when we have different elements, diversity of people fighting against racism, judging by the approach they take. So that is why I don't agree with Newton. Yes, we can't stop racism, but we can make progress towards it. And then a boy with Vini Modi and any or more, why always him? Is it the only black person? Maybe the other blacks in the Madrid team. No bad way, fine. But Vini's line is never wrong if it's for a just cause. And it's a cultural thing. Benfica the end of provocation by. Yes. On my video ni be penny back after 1-0 ni the CC ni and he found it funny. I saw Diago me so some in a video ni pen. Where akoda hwe. Enkoda no mo ye monkey gestures at the no mo ye adwi we. A cultural obesian. Say ni patuntum ya wade na hyewa fa we su huro no. Akoda no obi na atre anyway we hunu. Culture is the way of life. He grew up in a certain society. A few of free mantemo wom say no mo ye tia nipa bibini se nipa bibini ne ya na de na ehye no so ni team na se nipa bibini ne be hye go tia no na ye ne ya e wo so ye bibi say de che nipa bibini no so have a go at him osua ye ne papa panyi to stance ni mo no so de ye beba or the toso a obehu ono so to stadium hall ye the same gesture enti akoda o panyi o they are doing literally the same thing and it is a societal thing. Minim says I penny video na already. There was a lady. Me sure say papa no ko nim say camera dan so a ka onye saade no. Enie one na na to. Say ni nia ba so and or sre like it's a cultural thing. Again, and you say Vini na ready or your more stadium hall. Let's go to Argentina. A small boy who sees a monkey walking on a rope. Yentie sound na akoda ne kan. No de yentie. If that is ready, Shara can play it. Ni yentie ade. Enya Benfica Stadio da Luz. Enya Portugal Argentina ade.
Vinicius Junior. Vinicius. Vinicius! ¡Te hace electrocutar, Vinicius! Ah, no, sí hacen los cerdos. Ese es el Mbappé. ¡Vinicius!
De la cola.
No,
Vinicius. Exactly. And I could act it wow. Well, when you're 15 years and poor. But then it is how he has grown up, the people he grew up among. A fear no free society no woman no. That is how they have taught him. Who are draining the difference in him. Races. So if we don't start fighting against it now, but if this kid does this, now what is it? There is a vehement backlash. Ye cassette as na otuni hofo. Then ebi munya nuhu, ebi mu are genuinely they come to accept it is wrong and they stop. The stubborn ones need the omet to us. So that is how it is. It was a perfect way by Newton. We can't stop racism, but then again we can't stop the likes of me from putting up their voices so that it will be heard. Time now, so. Okay, no problem.
Okay. Whoa, I na fe yemrafina yemra to aso na ya wadanti ye beba o how so say Sharak my ready. I'm say Wontumi TV official and as Wontumi TV TikTok. Ma say Sharak mo ye streaming no at for because Facebook them say be kakaji say you jaya say be streaming or TikTok or say Twitter and X or cry very okay. Because see them say Facebook on them say you be jaya very necessary pa won't Sharak mama me tune na yam fana homra na afia na me share o how dia babia members e be fa and city very necessary pa everybody will dwane.
Me wo message kakra bi e de ma ye Ghana Premier League coaches no and then referee for no then me start referee for so ye share game na that lie officiality between Haas and Kotoko or Kotoko and Haas no. Everybody said he's really proving so on could calf game no. The first few minutes of the first half I wasn't pleased. But imagine times I just asked all the big games in the year, and also be picking up. And indeed, second half and he was superb. But me share like performance, like being a VAR referee or continental level. Because a VAR referee now, who say authoritatively, only the center no cry a pill. Sometimes he can decide to overrule what you know, or stick to what you know. Meaning is that what decision also matter of field so. And yet a brass center with me overwrite the old channel. Sometimes bet me so sanadjuli no the amount. Now apart from being a VAR referee, the guy has also been a center referee. Egypt, Nigeria. I was for history, for recency. Egypt, Nigeria. Omu game no I was it's a lie we all came here and said lie and said or bomb python and anom or getting the best out of himself, not seeing him, and indeed he's done that job. But where lie is and the rest of the other referee no emuwa so Kenya CAF referee or FIFA standard referee for mutimi game di center be 5 ewo ye mai mu ha yes omukwa oti omudi o paper so wa ohun omudi o FIFA referee be at 25-26 yet omo nkan but ohun omo visibly so many di game no ye be 5 o ye mai mu ya nkewi at the time when you opportunity to call CAF Champions League any confederation no and me know say menya nanka CAF aside 4 slots na Bregana so that enkoye has ko ba ko a otiba obekonache enkwaya sekotoko beko no squad now next year the bekono nya no na niema sesa. There's always been that thing because Africa no ebuani. But talk about Laye and the rest of the officials no yaw emu wapa se Ghanaian referee betimi agina ho ka say obedi Nigeria and Egypt game me kasa derby maybe just oye me hu no na me game bia me dia ma Shadrack mpese me kan wasem All Blacks and Semantics pese me this game no ko wie referee for de no na me call manim because every season bia no ye baba e ka say referee for no just center no omo ye hu so omo authority ne dey authority ne say wonya woni ma right game no emra na da ho no FIFA ade agu sheet so da internet o but they are more and more apply e more referee for no more apply on the field but sometimes application be ho no ma yeah na eni aso ntwetwe because game no you shemro for de you should division 2 you Sunday special FIFA officiating mbra no yaw ensesa law 14 krona na apply no from division 2 division 3 premier eco Afghanistan ko Egypt the same law 14 law 11 krona no. I know Sir Shadrack anya video the dia but I've given 2 videos to him. I mean say Saka bakuni game atwa weekend yeah that the enti America say your game no say botia obine na say A be a team B and any opportunity yaw the person me who say ball we a penalty and I say penalty. We be too much for we are copyright in the moon to say Facebook or Wontumi. You just have the judgment yourself. All Blacks, draw Blacks, they share white, you know. Samates and they share green and a black shorts, you know. Now, what's your situation? How I are Samates a defensive area no box to Mankasana issue we see. Rudolph no. What's your bona? Or can I what you know? Or kind of the foot left now. Na ko person the shoot
on the Druna Shadrack mo bet me high in a slow down mode and calm me jump.
Okay, boy we say omo ignore your referee nje. But in my whole discussion na me pe ya mpacha fedi so hu no aha no na obusa so oye ne den no o sa so bet me ayama wo. E ho no na request say aha no. Pasha say who be yeah, but apart from cameras, and the cameras and the for yeah, but me person shot referee. No, watch this referee. About same free action. You about to want me follow action. No, what's on my picture? Want me follow my nyana said because at this point there are 3 gates out from 1, 2, 3. And we be should occupy one, and then a better proximity to the situation. But referee for no yaw. You could see any referee for need to be a babishim. But me start me come on so hwe me bola ya baso fi Egypt, Nigeria, and I'm about add Semantics.
Yeah.
And All Blacks. Now, what the game when I'm to be ya? But they could Egypt and Nigeria. I feel home maybe I'm doing come on the corner. Where any person all stadium can it be compared to African level game? It will be serious. I'm sorry, me ref akumate. And ya akumate so of anche me center referee no duaba. But he has to. Apart from also the other video, no, there was a handball that really changed it. And my cousin so and then the beer a common Samates or Chakoti, we will still be here. And some person a candia a Koti Biana, look at this situation too. Almost a born where you co grip man Niniano. Yeah, so and it did change the direction of the ball. It was a goalkeeper and Kosei. Or call the direction of the first shot, no, but it deflected and was outside it. And it did so by virtue of the fact that Gripman is up and it deflected ball in the direction. Yo, why can't this be penalty or a foul? It's a lie, Bojuma, but lie near more watching. No. Please, almost so more there so more performance, more lifting because each and every time, look. Boy, media ma air ball fino. A second me waste time na me comedy ma ho asem. 2 me sa so camera di ma mudu am pesa me kan ho asem. I shouldn't be wasting time talking about this. But your referee for na e internet e ka bi mo say Ghanaian referee le la yeti anim brobe mo so mo ho so kwasi brobe mo nkaka mo ho no. Yaw, e do center na mo di game. Me say pressure be na o game we mu. E your Blacks and Semantics. Why should it happen this way? What am I making fence so? Yo, this season, you know, media ma airborne home of the Ghana Premier League. ɔmmɔden was soro na da bia meka kyerɛ ase be kele teta the first round bu sam sɛ ɔbɔ no homɔden meka sɛ ɔbɔ no homɔden nso trophy ne bɛkyerɛ coach Tanko nyanji trophy bia fa ma me de ma for so we cannot say ɔbɔ no homɔden because at the end of the season or trophy any bebusa but one aspect of the game wa me person ne yaw me ma coach Tanko salute the progressor or the ma Kamara Di Mamudu maybe na Go Stars any mediama ebebo ewo bibiani and share coach Tanko a chiro na mebusa de say coach we team no all patterns bear 4-5 ewo mu a metimi achecho ni nyina me ne nko a na yebo nkomo and I'm sure say 2 of the patterns Manoma and air drop in between the 2 center backs no and former Kotoko defender Mubarak. Anytime a DM no drop your 2 center backs in the now center back way or a new right back. Now a new right back Kamara on 4 line no soon cool. Now Baba share Fuzi tell and share no man 2 because Manomante a drop your 2 center backs in it, but he keeps the double pivot intact. And so that movement from right back to middle of the pitch, and when no, Kamara D call Sudan, almost changing or buy fee for the boy. And Kumoy when ye a more technical patterns are coach Tanko. I implemented the team. Say Kamara Mamudu me said Manoma and drop you on one for line so about Convifia could Kafu. Not Mubarak Ababashet right back or as a right back come a central defender and it's worked. Omubenya Kamara Mamudu video no for me. We've always been saying it's a green place in the car. Yaron performance in so Mokoya who's in the pay okay competition or co survival and our survival obeba and our back. But Kamara ball now you changing the ball game by the boy, you know. I want to speak to this as a motivation for every Ghanaian player.
Me catch him like say Batrese as boys no quality will league anymore. Cause I'm a born a familiar position or a born medal and will be about to move fra war passes and an pay the attack on 1-2 no or the man no show no agenda then fast for your system. I
have it here now.
Kamara did too much.
Look, only my dear all can imagine a course. Kamara minimum no as good. Some me ho. But at that time, 2 no, it was on Kroma, Kujamwa Ko, and Pemda Costa to be 2 nubi. A Chili Mohammed, the all has a centre back, no suit to be Bobo 2 nubi. And the 2 on it tight, Kamara Ko loan or Karela. But later now buy no, and I'll fighting as a tamino, a limo, a move, because I'm not fighting Mako, and Makuja ho comediama, and a Kamara 12 more comediama, no Sanako Butu, na Africano. Now you be brave, you be fast so about maximize your chances because you be an open player. Mediama believes that open play or many chances I say, and it's a defender. Now you check the few chances at Bebano. Mediama against the younger, mediama against Ali. And so yeah analysis no. Me share your corners few ones na yenya and your crosses na. Na Kamara Mamudin were very effective. And I'm a coach Amankwa or Bahai. And a coach do take discuss say you do set pieces a Kamara Din you mo bi hwe ne chima no nko beboaye check media man believes that baba yara Kamara Din nya asa go no na dressing room Kamara catch them say no coach baby person 2 na akono yakubu beboa mo ya de he is so effective in aerial duels Kamara Din as a right back no one cross it. So me madwene here me dada say he is not just those right backs in Libya obey traditional right back because I what you say
Kafumulia no
two na about body awie madwene who me say he will evolve as time travels and no TV do na ma oh and no free bench na oba you know now the last pass he gave to that guy you know
they did go on the buy you know
forget it my video no the pass was so explicit now one check ball who because encoche ho a e ka play and be offside this is timing more so or pass with the weak foot but the video na mashadra ko dey ama me bonija more so or pass with the left foot and I said say now Kamara here adwumene dey awie he came from the bench one introducing him to the fans he got an assist not from the primary role but this is rightful timer or you Ghanaian player would be motivated to say me kwe me ma na two no mo fa so be to me no was our Obama coach be my cast me me fa wie na make mum you players no o ka kire say me o 3 center backs ba wo timi bo 2 timi say me use we mu no mu central defense na me do ko 2 no the sakata na no bench o ada be pon match wa hunu so o be improve no with time no coach mum ba bi am pemasem anyway say but sometimes every coach loves quality
ko bo medal
okobo medal it what chance 2 ni be pra obatua ebi so 2 ko boma Sudan national team the community no 2 na wo ko 2 no wo be back no bia na boma Sudan kuro na wakoso no
yem bench
yes 2 no mani ye you ni mo ana nobody would obi touch no nti ba sa o Sheffield no so video na de ma Shadrack no so sila wa fama o na Shadrack wa majuma na yaw nobody I want to speak to the video but why is it not coming and have copyright video what they say TV because I love that video. I travel across the length of your league, you know, and me who you players to be development each and every day. Boy be war vision. Me refi ni di kakra wo bomb 6. Sa boy no man who say we pie so be me ya pa. O bomb 6. Boy no me boni di. So such a player me need that so sa and when I saw say Kamara free bench about make it this input, you know. Manager man, ya mama fancy one more.
Whoa, Mike, right.
Fancy, accountability and accountability. No institution not trust GD bebum yabi no benyanketa hodie ni ajiwodia. Aya senior we see ebun kontane here. Accountability is very important. Kodoko management yadie. The build up to the super clash any home promotion way or moye. The mubo who deura kama ticket ton yadie. And we saw that the numbers at the stadium was the best for our league. But yabo game we ended ya wada 4 days after. And not a single communication about tickets sold, proceeds from the gate, any one sense, nothing. As will be a if you'll be out to dream. So how will people then get that trust to relate you to or come to support in future a year way out there? Chairman ye 10,000 cities, regional minister ye need there, King Zuba ye need there. A lot of people bought tickets, they purchased tickets. They will want to see some documentation about Bontain. Oh, say, okay, ticket I a ton, you know. No mudaneti sika edie the ton will get in ye yet free more deductions anyway sika yen ye. As I said, should be able to me from Bontain. No, that is bad practice. This is very bad. And it should not be encouraged. We are the same people na yen kon tini akomiaka ho na Blasters budget publish Blasters budget, but we can't add our voices and tell the Kotoko management make the details and the figures known. NSA make the figures known. Na support to yi teku yi simple okay miss can boy money say how much, because oftentimes you didn't come about your football now you say we can't quantify the value football makes to the local economy. Okay, then we use this game as a yardstick. Yeah, they are prepared away. Okay, if we play a football match our Babayara na stadium near 80% fuller in a typical league contest sika ye generating see a ton ticket say then we can put together documents the entire movie no I need a visa for such figures no for educational purposes and it's a that be see didn't come on about your ball no na sika sem wom na ye say obi mfa sika mbeshem na say na your ball need to me generate here yetimi asini pini asinita ye mo yetrimu nka bibi akeke mo ya na mo de ade na hyedem mo bo ho mpa ya na se mo ye ne dey
to me
mo bo ho mpa ya na mo de ya contract na mo de ye dey. What are you using the figures for? What are you hiding? Release the figures. Dear Abua. Okay, so if we want more numbers at the stadium, Kodokoye heavy promo. Say no, and you to say at the end of the day. Okay, then how much did they invest into the promotions? So cost radio stations are hold way no. Sika say no mudi shemu. Omoti sa de any free sika no munyaye after see tax ni be free gate process ni mo a. Say na Kotoko benya dia kofi. Oh, sir, and the encouraging Kotoko management and say, and the free network, they should continue to invest in promotions, their time, their resources. Then let's see if it will continue in terms of the trend that you hear. I don't know, my game near to Casa. Eh? Upon a moya, I said, Demo Penamamoye. Huh? You used media platforms to promote your game. Now where we are, release the figures to the same media, no member who they rule elsewhere. Like here at the end of the day, you see the need. But when we are there, you don't want to release figures to the media. Near fry, yes, and for friend, way. What kind of accountability, poor accountability is this? And they say figures more so more yede. More de yede and then more de. What are you doing with the figures? Tell us. More de yede. More de yede. Kotoko management figures more de yede. What are you doing with it? And then more de you can't release it. Thursday, Friday. Now kabe 2-3 days near exactly a week. You can't even produce figures. If you are not accountable, then how would corporate institutions deal with you? How would they deal with you? I don't know, sir. I mean, maybe woman tears you.
Run to me.
No, because when we Anka Tuesday, what the figures about? Yenyansika say yatiti say into the media na say, and these are the less. For educational purposes. How the media can now promote football games rather than being controversial and wanting to channel negative energy near there. Oh, na media na jatum say. Ye born na ye see a man for no. Say ye 2 year who see one ye boa e promote ye born ni year. And ye dom no so be ba me escape free mu. More the figures necessary. What are you doing with it? More booming same to say Pentecost. What are you doing with the figures? Oh no, this is bad practice. And at Tuaso, if this was an isolated case, I will not approach it in this manner. I knew the first time. I knew the second time. Mpempino, ye be ye de ye be bob match who the rule, a don beba, ye be no accountability na kwa bibi e wo ho. Kotoko, yes, it's a privately run club, but it belongs to the fans as well. And in this initiative, there were individual persons who donated money.
Run to me.
Oh yeah, and nanka fe. What? Oh, there's Sanka who studio crown be this ankomo we ya. Just publish the figures on your socials. No be amfa no hunu no so the other be no dia e. E ma agro ne ye fe ma agro ne ye de. Momwa ye ne so ye moamo ne ene mu na ye adwuma no. Just as you saw us as a very key collaborator in promoting the game, see us as the same collaborators in subsequent engagement. Ne ina ye ntumi nyini mom. You want the media to always channel a certain cause. Help them to do that. Afena media kwati asebi no abonitiri no abofiga unhu bi yesi panyi bi abi ediskani bi na I know that you will come and react to it. Oh Charlie. I
think from the professional point of view, you expect Kotoko to be doing much more better when it comes to some of these things. Yeah, I'm even surprised this the club did their best in making sure say Obia or contribute Biano, their social media handle has been able to post Sani Pakrono this Kama or Mono say Omado say. I've seen subsequent posts on my post to my social media handles. I trust say omo muskano so no. Omasa de biase we chiri ni san your money na yaw. I'm only speaking to certain things I've realized which I believe they will need to improve upon it. Which is their direct contact relationship with people they meet. What did they mention? As a direct contact relationship with people they meet. And if I say that in respect to what I even saw before the team went to South Africa last year, Omone Kaiser Chiefs. Yeah, I was literally very disappointed in Kotoko that Kaiser Chiefs to me free South Africa by Eddie Jason ni souvenirs every school no money omokunya engagement no. Kotoko could not offer a single souvenir to the school, to the students. What did they mention as an adibi ebe nkaye and an nahose enkurana da chibi no munyinia. Ombeka se mi wo school mu no nipa A nipa B nipa C yede e bai. Now in their mindsets e wo mutrim se Kaiser Chiefs of South Africa and they will forever remember that and cherish it. Because we person kura ye omo ba ye omo hunu ye clubs ne bo omo de no modo club no. Eno na akọ animu na aba bedru yaw. Ye won panyifo bi wo no ma they did not even meet the club eye to eye. But I'm also contribute to your part. So right after the game, the morning mobile and move to ahead. I'm not saying it is late, but I think it is one thing they need to look at. It be a nice home jersey or away jersey. Go to them, present it to them. Let them say, at least ticket no more contribute or more can be na nipa do na be a day. A buy as a sign of token beer. Dachi bin uhi nipa ne moa. Because you need nipane help. A die die pre na ye say you do certain gestures to get people for future assignments. Yes. And these are things I may expect to say we engage about. If they are listening, they should look at it and go back to it and be quick. And be quick about it. Be quick cry. They are tossing you. Team ne ball super class in the way. Oma me ati ase ehunu say coach Prince Owusu ene coach Hamza and a twice the team the way season. Now after the season, Ombe appointed coach Obabe permanent at the Amomo. It makes me think about two things. One, Omon person be Rashe take a decision as to who comes in as the head coach. Number two, just maybe they believe that Coach Prince could be able to prove himself, or Hamza said about at the end of the season. Coach Prosperna Ogumu Sambra back, but I'll be very surprised if Ogum should even accept it and even come back.
If certain conditions
are which I believe a lot of things haven't changed. What I say, no more be said answer some so. Actually say something new that is it.
Love on a raise would walk
by the mum ubam na betum na bu say djuma na akono so mu adwuma nwuno sanete yaw de to so mienu matete samobodu hu nkomo samobodu supporters ne krase de bi omompe ba yaw nkomo a yedi wa akiri pa na ewo mu ne say Kotoko will love to appoint a foreigner. Initially they had spoken to a Portuguese coach say nkombe fa adwuma ne no mbe omo believe say omo exhausted the local terrain in terms of appointing coaches to do. Because Kotoko decided some more appointing coach, they will have to go back to Ogum, maybe near Kenya. Wanko Oguma, they will have to go back to Obi to say coach Frimpong Manson. So man call Frimpong Manson, they will have to go back to coach Biti Maxwell Kunadu. So you look at the terrain of local coaches and the coaches they find themselves in. That and one mutual more. So if the team has decided to appoint a foreigner, yaw. Mame Kasim will can be say, Samoba appointed foreigner, by a monk of Fanembras is here. Mamon Chama season new year. Give him ample time to study the league and the kind of players he's coming to work with. Yeah, the reason why I make us ask him when he say the Kotoko crop of players they have and the kind of operations in terms of Mpenyifo Mudi team Nechino has shown us say Assassin no mema adwuma na ye wakono na emu medrum na bi o medan su ba bia de cho is better so beba samre uhu samre ya na aboa wo and as someone ni bedru na be who player beton na no aton no. Is this not the same players are Ogun Muba Assassin omo ni omo sresre omo ka no omo ye ebedru fifi no maje agu? Is it not the same players that Coach Abdul Karim Zito di omo be ye adwuma na omo ba training na wia 2 o'clock no mo tete ho no mo de mo se gu mo na so sresre se coach be boa ya me yetimi abobo eduru mre bi na ne o ma dane. Give coaches ample time to clearly assess the team and the league. So any local coach no mo fa na say broni no mo be so mo fa ne mra samre no mehunu league no. Now next season after 2 or 3 months man be blame ni say or lusu games be amamre bi amo betre bi amo betima challenge this phase. When the Nigeria Stars wanted to do something omo ko fa Aristika Shoba de neba omo de neba last season Shoba Nigeria de neba last season ono omo de be season ni wie na hwe team a wahye ne sama we na hwe team omo de bo league no na hwe team omo de bo FA Cup
solid team.
He knows his team.
Yeah.
So if you want to appoint a foreigner and bring him to the league, especially once a foreigner no you be a ombo league ni bi da samre na was all the neba.
Okay.
Because what 12 matches to go. My men kind of crunch down for my men say down for you can compete for the league by winning it another class or winning, including House of Folk now.
Yeah.
Oba Kroma say be share no. FA Cup you are out. And if you bring in a coach no a Bronina Samre na de neba, meaning say pressure ni so Onko League. Kabo obenya botra access team no. Players omo contract ewu. Players omo contract wo so omo renew.
Yeah.
Players omo deserve so also omo both team next season. Signing say wo so omo ye scout wo so omo ye. Because media mate wo kotoko na to de bia medwa kra na say omo so omo scout edini wo so scout na ehu omo.
Edini wo nzi.
Depends na no atamfo no afre player A, player B, player C, mun kofa.
Wow.
Coaches never omo busa where are scout? Almost normal body A B C D. How many meetings na scout in coaches in Kramponya?
As a scout,
results doesn't come by magic. Structure yourself well. You just can't wake up and say results about next season league. Enough of that particular fake hopes you give supporters. Do proper planning. Oh sorry, as me league. Who they trust you me? Oh man, your mama basa. Next season no masa be shebo ya kwaji league. Do the right things. Do the right things. Say season baby oh my prince are born akodru him fan waja prince kwan say on penwa let him go bring in a different coach.
1.3.
Let him come and study the team. Offer team niwie. On a fair overview of team strength, team weaknesses. Omo ton omo no onya we say season ni wi amo ton Peter Midu akwa ana oko free.
Yeah.
Onya we say Kamara oko free. Onya we say Sambo na oko free. Na the season oni omo ba ohunu obi ane na ho ade a ohunu profiles a say sama ni du oko market ni omo ko form de omo ayede. Aba
to adventure no.
Omo nya ne sa.
Omo fa coach na mrantem.
That is it.
No me bo. I don't know. The Prince who we know pre-season coach in the Baseka fresh.
You see, this is a club that has shown not to be trustworthy within that period of time. You are not going to be fair to any coach that comes in.
Okay.
Especially when Obianim said this squad near imbalance. Especially if it's your and say and say couple season or next season, over the pressure to coach Akofana baby. I say Kotoko. Maybe I'm a case we say Kotoko Kasa. I am your maybe to say Alali. But reality nankasa ne kire so omo operate to say bia Ghana Premier League team also omo operate of form.
Omo hot to akese no.
What I say because almost like coaches almost so Ali Kram Premier results we ma Kodokodi coach here also G League. So if you think that is your standard, meaning you need to prepare the grounds as a standard club for the next coach no be say be your skills behind the day. Emma.
Whoa.
Na coach ne ba no ka se menya injury player we na me turn ba player we na turn sana mo pe
20 players no mo ko ne re fufu
sana mo pe
yɛn fancy na china why ya have it twaso okay miza no nti kwatokofo emza mutie dia sa suggestion no na o make no say mo de ne bantama no hu terrain no coach bianso obeba bia ne mandate ne so obaji league man ample time a who league no ya ebetimi abo aye kopa specialist eba hospital na ya bonkomo ya ma me doctor akosu adua ya o wadru ewo asoye ho aye se odu a wa ya rehwe enye din kra boss na bokode
nyamedom kapo
good